it's not a digital decline because digital's just continuing to grow, but there's this analog resurgence. I read in Rolling Stone last week, they reported that vinyl records are set to outsell CDs for the first time since 1986. They say that the sales of vinyl records have enjoyed constant growth in recent years. I was unaware. At the same time, apparently, CD sales are in a nosedive. Like, that doesn't surprise me. When was the last time you bought a CD? I think at best I bought a CD for someone as a gift, and even that I felt like was kind of a pointless exercise. Like, it's like, it feels like more of a recommendation. Like, hey, I think you'll like this music. I could have sent you a link on Spotify, but I gave you a CD. I don't know. Maybe I should start sticking a photo inside the CD so it becomes a rounded, tangible thing you can hold in your hands. I don't know. But apparently, yeah, CD sales are declining massively to the extent that CD sales were declining 3 times as fast as vinyl sales were growing. The Record Industry Association of America's mid-year report, which came out last Thursday, says that vinyl sales accounted for more than a third of the revenue coming from physical releases, with vinyl revenue growing by 12.8% in the second half of 2018 and 12.9% in the first 6 months of 2019, whilst the revenue from CDs has barely budged. Apparently, if this trend holds, records will soon be generating more money than compact discs. Tom Coulson, who is the co-chairman and CEO of Warner Records, told Rolling Stone, apparently, it's his words, "It's a sexy, cool product. It represents an investment in music that's an emotional one." Now, I'm not sure what sexy and cool. Vinyl's cool. Sexy. But for me, this like he's hit on something here with it being an emotional investment in something. And I think that's the same with like my photos. Like it's far more expensive, let's say, in the long run. Like a nice digital camera and a memory card that's big enough is going to be far more expensive than a second-hand analog camera and a bunch of rolls of film. But in the long run, if you keep buying film and different film, and that could add up, you know. But it's an emotional investment. Like I feel like I have more of a connection to the pictures I'm taking, I guess. I don't know. The vinyl resurgence has been of a benefit, apparently, to some artists, especially classic rock groups. And maybe we're not surprised by this. But apparently, the Beatles sold over 300,000 records last year, vinyl records. Whilst Pink Floyd, David Bowie, Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and Queen all sold over 100,000. Now, when I was probably between the age of 19 and 24, I bought a lot of CDs. I never really got into vinyl. I had some when I was maybe 13 or 14, but not many. But my brother had many more. I bought a lot of CDs, and I mean a lot. Like, I love the way that I could hold it in my hand. You have to open the case. It's got a cool picture on it, cool cover art. You take the CD out, you put it in the CD drawer, and you play it. Like, the whole process, for me, had like a romantic, nostalgic feel to it. And just having CDs stacked up everywhere. And I love, like, if you had friends around hanging out of an evening, and you could kind of, like, track the evening by the reverse order of the stack of CDs. Like, it was cool. I try to cling to this by making playlists, like, as we go. So that, I don't know, like, if people are around at my house or I'm in charge of music, I'll try and make, rather than like just hitting play on stuff, I'll try and add it to a playlist so that it plays in like an order, and then you've kind of got this musical overview, like a snapshot of the occasion. I gave away a lot of my CDs before I came to Spain. I didn't really see the point in keeping them with like Spotify and stuff and moving them to Spain, and like I couldn't sell them for very much, so I just gave them away. I gave them away to family, friends, and then the rest I donated to charity to sell. There's probably some still in the Oxfam music shop in Nottingham that are mine that never sold because I had some weird CDs. I do kind of miss having CDs, but I'm perfectly happy with Spotify, just having it anywhere and all the time on my phone, TV, laptop, whatever. One thing I do miss, though, about CDs is that you could play albums in full. Like, you didn't have to, but it's far more complicated to program a CD player to play like a certain sequence of tracks than it is to just, now we just drop them into a playlist on Spotify. While I do love my playlist, I actually do try and still listen to albums in full from track 1 to track 15 or whatever, especially if it's like a new release from an artist that I like. Apparently those streaming platforms such as Spotify are completely dominating the music industry now. I wasn't aware. I kind of thought like MP3 purchases were still a thing. I don't know. Vinyl records accounted for just 4% of total revenues for the first half of 2019, whilst paid subscriptions to streaming services generated a huge 62% of music industry revenues. And it's just, I find it insane, like how we're handing over large sums of money. Like I'm trying to think, like we pay what, €15 between the two of us every month for the year. That's what, a couple of €100 a year between us for Spotify. Like that adds up, and like we're not owning anything. Like we only have access to this music whilst we continue to pay for it. The day that I cancel my Spotify subscription, I've got no access to music because I gave away my CDs.